had no clue what I was doing there. That was abandoned, or not abandoned, well, it is abandoned in the box file. That was originally a Boss E-band file that I got a copyright claim on. So I put it, I recreated it in Band in a Box and changed the key. So I'll be interested in seeing if I get a copyright claim. I don't get it from Boss, I get it from some other individual who claims he wrote it and it's all of his original material from CD Baby. So that'll be a good test. We're looking at another Washburn. You'll remember the other Washburn I did with no cutaway that was completely rounded to no cutaway. And how much I really liked that guitar that was very inexpensive. It was $385 new about 10 years ago, give or take. And I knew they had, this is the HB15, but this is the HB15C, C for cutaway. And it wants to be a Gibson ES-165, and it's not. It's a very cheap rendition of that. Main difference, of course, it has a floating pickup versus an actual Gibson humbucker built into the body, like I would like. But this is way cheaper. You know, the Gibsons were going for like $2,700 right before they quit making the Herb Ellis model, and this I got. These were going for $499, I think, $450, or $499, I think, with a gig bag, and it was a strange deal. I put it on my watch list on Reverb just to see if prices were fluctuating at all. And about 2 days later, I got like a notification on Reverb saying, by the way, there's some more of these listed, and it's new old stock from 2010s, and it was $100 off, so it was $399 instead of $499 with the case. I wouldn't do it again. I think that Gretsch, I can't remember the number. I'll put it up here as well. 22 something. The amber one with no Bigsby with 2 pickups, they go for $450 new, and that's a slightly better guitar, I think. Comparing this to the other Washburn is like day and night. This is not anywhere near as well made, or it's made about the same, but quality control wise it's not the same. You probably can't see it here, but the wood on here, let's get some serious light on this. Ow! I don't think you'll be able to see, but there's lots of variation in the wood color from dark to light in the neck, and even up here on top on the top of the fretboard you can really see it, whereas on the other Washburn it's a slightly darker color, and it looks like rosewood that's maybe been stained dark, but it was uniformly stained. This looks like they tried to stain it and just didn't quite get the stain right or something. It looks kind of neat. It looks very woody and grainy and all that. It looks okay, but it's weird looking compared to most. Also, the pickup on the other Washburn, the pickup had a metal bar on top of the fretboard up here on top of the neck that went down behind the neck and anchored that pickup and kept it floating and suspended. This one has a wood block underneath the pick guard. It looks like wood. I've not taken it apart, and I can't quite tell. It must be glued in there because I don't see a screw anywhere, and there's just a square block at the bottom right below the pickup here, a little square cube, looks like wood, painted black, and I can't tell if there's a screw somewhere in there that screws the pickup to that wood block, and then the wood block is glued to the bottom of the pick guard. It gives the pick guard a little stability, but since all the connection is at the bottom of the pickup, it allows that pickup on the bass strings to just wobble back and forth and hit the guitar body, and you can't tell it now because I've remedied this situation with a rubber band. I wadded up a rubber band right here and stuck it in the pickup, and that totally solved the problem. I'll get some little rubberized feet and stick in there at some point, but because I probably don't want to leave a rubber band in there. Not that the finish is anything special on this one. And so that's that pickup. It's not as well made. It's not. I mean, they obviously cut costs by getting rid of that little metal bar. Sound wise, it sounds okay. The tailpiece is, I don't know if we can see that or not. It's just barely misaligned. I don't think we can actually see that. I don't know if it's enough to tell in the camera being a little further back. It's just a pinch misaligned, whereas on the other Washburn it's not at all. The nut looks good to me, although with the windings, with that flared head, out here on the end, that brings, because the tuners are aimed on the bottom, they're aimed slightly up this way, and on the bottom they're aimed slightly down this way, and that brings those middle strings in very close to contact with the other tuners, the middle tuners. And in fact, on the I rewound the D string because it was actually touching and kind of getting bound up in the A string, and so I actually rewound the A string and the D string to put a few more wraps around it to make sure it was out there a little bit, or less wraps on the A string and more wraps on the D string to help keep it out there, and that solved the problem. And it's the same way on the G string and the B string, and it's just like that G string comes off that nut and then takes a sharp right turn to go to that in tuner there, but it's okay. It works okay. Tone wise, that's another thing. These tuners appear to be identical to the tuners on the other Washburn, and I just I have to retune this off and on much more often, but it's new strings too, so maybe that's it. When I look at the serial numbers, if this is new old stock from the 2010s, the serial numbers make no sense on the other Washburn and this one. They're like from maybe two different factories with totally two different types of serial numbers that don't even jive with one another. And the only thing I can find on that other one is I do see an 08 in there, and on this one I find an 11. And that's the only thing that I can find that might be the year in there on the serial number. It's not on the body; it's on a tag inside the body, on a sticker. And I can't really honestly. I'm going to redo the strings yet again. I put those half flats, or what are they called? Half flats or half wounds on here. I think they're Diodaros, but I'm not absolutely sure, so don't hold. And thinking, oh man, I'll retain a little twang, but it'll be a fairly smooth, more like a flat wound, and I'll kind of have a flat wound with still retain some twang. And it's just the opposite. They're not anywhere as close to being like a flat wound. They still have they're much closer to round wounds. And they lose enough twang to not make it worth it. I'll have to look that up to see what brand that is, because I know there's other brands out there, and maybe there's some that are better than others. I don't know. But I think for now I'm going back to 11s. These are 10s, and they bend. It's so easy to overbend with them. And on my electric guitars, my rock and roll guitars, they're all 10s, and I overbend, but this just seems easier for some reason. So that's a Washburn HB 15C. It's an okay guitar. It's a playable guitar. I wouldn't pay $400 again with it. The gig bag that comes with it is was just identical to the one that came with the other Washburn. And as I said, it's an in-betweener. It's not paper thin, but it's not hugely thick. And if I was gigging out, I'd be a little, I don't know, on a $400 guitar maybe. Who cares? Wow, I already got some stuff on it. Anyway, on a $400 guitar, who cares? I'd want a hard shell case preferably, but then that would be about half the cost of the guitar, so probably not. Anyway, I just thought I'd do a quick show and tell on that. If you have any questions or anything, please put them in down below. Yeah, put any questions in down below. Leave a comment. Please feel free to leave a comment about what jazz boxes you've had, or which ones you're interested in, where you want to go in the way of jazz boxes. Do you have to have one with a Bigsby, or is it okay to have one without a Bigsby? I do love Bigsby's, and even when I play jazz, I sometimes will hit and I'll almost reach for the whammy bar. Better hit that one. Until we meet again next time. We'll see if we can get that copyright claim. Let's see if we can get that going.